You all know about UFOs, but what about USOs? No, not the show that cheers up the troops. I'm talking about Unidentified Submerged Objects. What are those? Let me show you some examples. Number 8. Invisible residents. Now, before we dive into the whole sightings business, we probably should discuss more about what USOs are. Because like UFOs, these unidentified submerged objects have been seen by many over the years, and they have prompted many to wonder if we're looking in the wrong areas for things like alien life or hyper-advanced creatures beyond the basic sea animal. A great example of many stories that deal what possible USRs are out there is a book from Ivan T. Sanderson called Invisible Residents. Here is the synopsis from Google Books. Check out what is said about him and why this book does what it does. This book is a groundbreaking contribution to the study of the UFO enigma, originally published over 30 years ago. In this book, Sanderson, a renowned zoologist with a keen interest in the paranormal, puts forward the curiosity that OINTs, other intelligences, live under the Earth's oceans. This underwater parallel civilization may be twice as old as Homo sapiens. He proposes, and many have developed, what we call spaceflight. Sanderson postulates that the OINTs are behind many UFO sightings, as well as the mysterious disappearances of aircraft and ships in the Bermuda Triangle. Sanderson offers here an exhaustive study of USO, unidentified submarine objects, observed in nearly every part of the world. He presents many well-documented and exciting case studies of these unusual sightings. If you paid attention, you'll notice several big keywords in that synopsis, such as the Bermuda Triangle, where many strange things have happened over the years involving ships, planes, and more. You'll notice that this book is not just his random thoughts on the matter, but a compilation of eyewitnesses to these events and more. So this isn't just another, oh, it's aliens theory. This is something that a lot of people believe in. Number 7. David Fravor. What might surprise you the most about various UFO and USO sightings is that it's always random people in terms of civilians that see these things. The first modern UFO encounter, that happened before Roswell, New Mexico, happened in Seattle and was seen by a pilot. And for USOs, many military personnel have seen them due to them flying over the waters for various reasons, such as David Fravor, who was already a known UFO seer, noted that one of his Navy pilot buddies whom he trusts had an encounter with a USO that is hard to describe. After the Navy acknowledged certain videos that Fravor and others took about the infamous Tic Tac alien, he began to receive stories from others who have seen things, including a group who witnessed the USO. They don't feel alone, he said. One of the guys was a Navy helicopter pilot. He was flying a CH-53, a big heavy lifter the Marine Corps uses for certain things. Off the East Coast, they do a lot of shooting. At the time, it was off Puerto Rico. Why were they in Puerto Rico? On a routine mission to get some torpedoes that had been fired into the water during a test. The helo drops a swimmer in the water. He hooks the whole thing up and they fly back. The first time they were out, they were going to pick up a BQM. He's sitting in the front, in the CH-53. You could see down by your feet as he's looking down. They're 50 feet, 15 meters above the water. He sees this kind of dark mass coming up from the depths, he said. As they hoist the BQM up, he's looking at this thing going, what the hell is that? And then it just goes back down underwater. Once they pull the kid and the BQM out of the water, this object descends back into the depths. Oh, but that's not where the story ends, because they had to go back down to get more of the torpedoes. And on the second run of doing that, the object showed back up once more, and it did so as the diver was mere feet from the water. This big object, kind of circular, is coming up from the depths, and he starts screaming through the intercom system to tell them to pull the diver up. And the diver's only a few feet from the water, he continued. They reversed the winch, and the diver's thinking, what the hell's going on? And all of a sudden, he said the torpedo just got sucked down underwater, and the object just descended back down into the depths. They never recovered it. They also never found out what that mass was. But there were plenty of theories that Fravor shared on the Joe Rogan podcast that he was on when he told this story. And again, this only scratches the surface of them. Number 6. World War II Kraken sighting. The Kraken is a legend that continues to thrive in the world despite many people believing that it was an exaggeration of a now known creature. But since we're human, we like to believe in the monsters that go bump in the night. Am I right? For those of you who don't know the stories or myths, the Kraken is a squid of such size that it would dwarf and consume massive vessels, sometimes even wrapping its massive tentacles around the ships and dragging them into the depths below. But despite this story being born in the time of sailboats, think Pirates of the Caribbean times, there have been many modern-day accounts of the Kraken, including some in World War II. A British trawler was docked off the Maldives. A crewman, A.J. Starkey, was on the deck of the trawler when he thought he saw something in the water. As I gazed, fascinated, a circle of green light glowed in my area of illumination. This green unwinking orb I suddenly realized was an eye. The surface of the water undulated with some strange disturbance. Gradually, I realized that I was gazing almost point blank at a huge squid. But wait, there's more to tell. For after seeing the eye of the squid, he walked from one end of the ship to the next, and he found that the tentacles reached to the other end, making this Kraken about 175 feet long. To be clear, the largest known squid in the world is about 60 feet long, which is a very impressive length, but what Starkey saw was basically 3 times that. Plus, you would have to think that given his rank, position on the ship, and the times he was in, World War II, that he wouldn't have a reason or a desire to lie about such a thing that he witnessed. So did he really see a Kraken, or did he discover a new species of squid and just not realize it? We may never know the answer, but these sightings of massive squids beyond what we know continue to pop up every once in a while. Before we boggle your mind with more USO sightings, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, that way you don't miss our weekly videos. Number 5. The telegrams. Going back to Fravor for a second, also on the Joe Rogan podcast interview that he did, he noted that one time a 79-year-old lady contacted him about her own experiences with USOs, but not via her own sightings, but rather something that her father told her when she was much younger. Her father was a Navy officer, and around the 1950s he was stationed in San Francisco. Nothing strange about that, right? Except that one day her father goes and shows her these telegrams that were sent to his base. The telegrams stated that there were unidentified objects going in and out of the water in a place just off the coast of San Francisco. The reason she remembered this wasn't just because of the weirdness of it, or that her father told her about it and thus she must remember it, but rather the number of telegrams that came in with that exact purpose. The father even noted that they get these kinds of telegrams all the time and they're all about the same spot. Sadly, the spot, in terms of latitude and longitude, are lost to time. But it is very curious. What's more, it's not the first time that a singular spot or area in the ocean has been known to have certain sightings, if you get my drift. Number 4. International sighting. Another misconception about certain alien sightings is that they only happen in certain parts of the world because only certain nations have reported sightings of them. But that's not true. If you don't believe me, check out this report from Japan. On the 19th of April, 1957, crew members aboard the Kitsukawa Maru, a Japanese fishing boat, spotted 2 metallic silvery objects descending from the sky into the sea. Original emphasis. The objects, estimated to be 10 meters long, were without wings of any kind. As they hit the water, they created a violent turbulence. The exact location was reported as 31 degrees 15 minutes north and 143 degrees 30 minutes east. So right there you have not just a UFO sighting, but one that transformed into a USO sighting. Think about what that could mean as a whole. No, seriously. What if the UFOs that we are continually seeing in the skies are doing their flybys and then hiding in the waters of the world? Remember, the Earth is 3 parts water, 1 part land, so there's plenty of room to hide in. In fact, there have been many certain shows in history that noted that aliens could use the waters to hide out until they were ready to invade. Granted, that's clearly not what happened here, but if those fishermen are to be believed, something went from the sky and into the water. And that's something that doesn't happen on Earth, not like this. Number 3. Submarine warfare. In Puerto Rico, back in 1963, some submarine drills were going down when something very odd happened. It was detailed in the book Invisible Residents. The maneuvers were conducted off Puerto Rico in the Atlantic, some 500 miles southeast of the continental United States. All reports seem to agree that there were 5 small naval vessels concerned, but in more than one account, the aircraft carrier Wasp is stated to have been the command ship. A sonar operator in one of the small vessels, otherwise listed as a destroyer, reported to his bridge that one of the submarines had broken formation and gone off in what appeared to be pursuit of some unknown object. This operator did not, of course, know if this was a plant, since the maneuvers they were engaged in were the exercises designed to train personnel in detection of enemy craft. However, this operator's report was not all within the limits of any such simulation. Trouble was that said subaqueous object was traveling at over 150 knots. But wait, there's more. Not only did that one ship get a ping on that fast-moving object in the water, but other ships picked it up as well. Also, it is said that technicians kept track of this object for 4 days and that it maneuvered roundabout and to depths of 27,000 feet. Back in 1963, there weren't many subs who could go 27,000 feet below sea level, let alone ones that could go 150 knots. So you tell me, what exactly did they see that day underwater? Number 2. Splashdown. Here's a final misconception about things like USOs. They are all from times when we didn't know better, or were easily influenced, except that some accounts of USOs come from recent times, such as 2007, when a woman was on a cruise ship and saw something she couldn't explain. After about 5 minutes, 3 softly glowing objects came into view. 3 uniform, nearly spherical objects, evenly placed in a line parallel to the ship's hull and hovering just above the water surface. They appeared to stay in one place while the ship moved past them. They were hovering, but it didn't disturb the water below them. Just as they went out of my sight, the left one, towards the bow, splashed down into the water and disappeared. There are even reports of certain sightings as recently as 2019, so hopefully that will help you put a little more reason in your cap of skepticism. Number 1. What is out there in the waters of our world? Whether you want to believe in aliens or not, there is one thing that you honestly can't deny, and that's the simple truth that our world has a very large undiscovered piece that we truly haven't cracked yet: the ocean. We've been looking at the ocean for many hundreds of years, but in terms of actual mapping of it, we're only at 5%. 5% of the whole ocean. Think about what that means. Plus, there are areas like the Mariana Trench that are so deep in the water that we can barely reach it, even with the best technology in the world right now. So we openly acknowledge that there are plenty of undiscovered species in the waters right now that we have yet to find. So why is that we are willing to accept that and not the possibility that there are some out there things in the waters right now? Is it so hard to believe that the impossible may just live right off our shores? You tell me. Thanks for watching, everyone. What did you think of these unidentified submerged object stories? Which ones do you think are the most plausible and really happened? Do you think they're all fake? And why? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.